risk is going to cost me too much money. I don't have that much money, Hector. Do you not understand that I only make $60,000 a year? How can I save that much money, and how can I get ahead? If you do nothing about what you're currently doing today, don't expect any changes tomorrow. The most important thing is, Hector, that all sounds great. You're going to give us a lot of really nice word tracks. It's going to sound very pretty. But where are the solutions? So today I'd like to be able to share some of those solutions that are integrated directly with Tammy and what Jeff is talking about. This integrated relationship, which I was sitting back there thinking how incredibly coordinated this could be. You're turning the page? I'm sorry. Thank you. How incredibly coordinated this could be, that they're talking right the same parallel lines of everything that we need to cover today. And we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of a couple of things, but I want to share with you that you're all here because you want to learn about real estate investing, correct? Some of you are real estate agents, correct? Some of us are trying to get a real estate license. Some of you are trying to save the money to get what you need to. You have some money, but you'd like to be able to see how you can get more. And everybody's thinking you have to go to a bank, right? We're going to talk about these relationships about banking. We're going to talk about the IRS. We're going to talk about ways where you can be able to borrow money from yourself, tax-free, and still have something with living benefits. You're probably like, Hector, what are you talking about? But I also want you to remember the key most important things in anything that we do and what we do in our business, in my firm, is we're staffed with the most incredible people that have the determination to have changed their lives. And the key and most important one that we do, and I'm going to add a couple, Jeff, you're going to love them. Okay? It's God first. It's faith. The faith is the most important thing that's going to be able to touch your heart, and you have to believe that there's something greater than you, and our Lord Jesus Christ is the one that saved us. Number two, your finances. You have to be able to have your finances in line, and your family. Those top three things are really critical, and the other one is called fitness. It's funny, when we were little kids, we had more energy than we knew what to do about. Mama used to tell us, quit jumping around, son, right? And the other one is you need to have fun in your life. You have to celebrate the small, humble blessings, because you can't enjoy the big ones when they come. So I have been fortunate, and I'm going to give you a small, quick, because this is not about Hector. This is about information I can share with you. I was blessed by one of the most incredible mothers that absolutely sacrificed everything for me and was a very successful woman, and I got the opportunity to go to some of the best universities in the country because I studied and busted my cookies. Plus, she hit me with the slipper. You know how Latin people are, right? You will get hit with that slipper. Quick, and they have an aim that does not fail. Okay? Bottom line is, it gave me the opportunity to go to college, served in the military. I was the bodyguard to the director of the Defense Intelligence Agency. I was 20 years old. I worked in the White House. I was so lucky to get there. Don't ask me how I got there, but I definitely was divine intervention. When I got done, I also graduated college, also did my master's degree, incredible clearances, and I was exposed to things and served missions in El Salvador and Nicaragua. Honduras, Costa Rica, it was hot down there in 1982. Yes, I am going to be 66 years old in another 9 days. So one of the things I'm going to share with you is that gave me an opportunity to get exposed and grow up overnight. Had a lot of dreams, but I didn't know how to get there. And served for 40 years in the retail automotive space after the president had a hiring freeze in 1984. That was President Reagan, by the way. Because I was already hired at the Secret Service of the FBI to work for them. But God didn't have me there because I think my curiosity would have gotten me killed. We don't need to talk about that, right? So most importantly, it has taken me fast forward that after 40 years, I didn't know what to do with myself. My mom passed February 19th, broke my heart, about kicked me in the chest. I thought a transmission dropped on my body. That was the love of my life, my mother. Now I'm a mama's boy, not afraid to admit it. That doesn't mean I'm a wimp. That just means that I love my mom so much because I respect her. So, take a deep breath here. Because she was special. So, I didn't know what to do. I was on the beach, at our beach house in Isla Mirada, in the Florida Keys. Somebody walks up and we start talking. And I said, I don't know what to do with my money. I was facing a $400,000 taxable event. This is a true story because I don't know how to do this any other way. And before I got up here, I prayed to guide my words. So instead of being fancy, I just want to be forthcoming. Because what I learned, I want to share with you, and it's going to give you tremendous insight. So I was talking to this lady. She looked like a mermaid when she came out of the water. And I'm telling you, she was beautiful. And then I meet her husband. He's 6'5". And we start talking, and he starts showing me some vehicles in order to be able to get to where I needed to get to and avoid a $400,000 taxable event. Now, that's not to show off. That's just to let you know that I worked really hard and I put my money away. Okay? And he said that he was going to get a commission off of my stuff. I said, no, you're not. You ain't get no commission off my stuff. I'm going to get the licenses. I went and got myself 4 licenses. Just so that I could learn, because I wanted to learn, and I really wanted to learn. Because now I have a new career. So I am a licensed professional financial strategist. And what I do is help families, which is a knowledge that is only reserved for the wealthy on Wall Street, and I'm taking it to Main Street. That in itself is the beginning. I've been able to take this now and develop it with other people and develop as a mentorship program to coach them step by step on all the things that I learned. I have hundreds of hours in reading, licenses, and learning. And mentor people and help them grow their own agency and their own business. Now I'm getting ahead of myself, so I got it. Oh, by the way, that's me. So this gentleman right here, South LA. South LA. He graduated college, played for the NFL, lasted 1 season, busted out his knee. He's 34 years old, he's a multimillionaire. These people here, very successful, and that's my mentor, Walter and Karen Jenkins. That's the mermaid that jumped out of the water. She cracks up when I say that to her, but it's true. We became very good friends. And what's nice is, have you ever been at work and they do not have the 5 F's? They do not have faith. They do not have family, right? They do not have their finances. They do not have their fitness. And they definitely do not have fun. Now, they might have a handful of those things, but if you remember those 5 guys, how nice would it be for you to work around somebody that was looking at your face and not everything else that God gave you? How nice would it be for me to be able to sit down and coach you up and develop your skill set because you have a conviction of being something different than where you're at right now? Now, understand, everybody runs at a different speed. So the purpose of what I'm sharing with you is the beginning to the development that integrates with real estate investment, how you get your capital, and how you help others. So let's continue. Welcome to the 25 Financial Literacy Seminar. It won't be long. I have 32 slides. We're going to cover about 21 of them, but I'm going to give you some highlights. First of all, you are aware that most people in the United States, to the tune of 68% of the people in the United States, of Americans, say that they're not on track for retirement, and 60% of Americans have never made a financial plan. The average for retirement today is $182,000 to $100. Can you live on $182,000 the rest of your life plus Social Security? The rest of it will bore you to death because it happens to people. But bottom line is, in order for you to be able to change where you're at today, that's why you're here, Hector, give me the solutions. Tell me what I can do. Anybody know what a 401k is? Who has one at work? Used to? You're a smart girl. So let me tell you something. This guy named Ted Benet started a 401k because the tax code, IRS code, was just a 401k. When he started that, it was the best thing since sliced bread. Why? In 1978, employers stopped providing pensions. So 1978, the responsibility for your retirement fell on the employee. Now that's shocking, isn't it? When I heard that, I was really angry because I couldn't understand why mom kept telling me, Hector, I have 2 pensions and my Social Security, plus my nursing retirement. Well, what's a pension? So I grew up in the employee had to have it in their hands. By the way, you taught this in school? Have you talked about anything about management of money? This is my favorite subject. My mom used to say, why you always talk about money and cars and things like that? Because I like both of them. All right? And I like girls. So you couldn't have one without the other. Okay? Because you ever tried taking a girl out with no money? That don't work, brother. No matter how good you are, it does not work. You all laugh at them, tell you the truth, right? Especially the guys. And the girls are like, oh yeah, I've met some of those. You know, but the 401k, when it came out in 1978, was the best thing since sliced bread because what happens, it fell into the hands of the people that didn't know what to do. Do you know that Ted Benet is not in a 401k anymore? By the way, fact, ChatGPT it, by the way. Anything I'm telling you, ChatGPT it. You'll be like, he does know what he's talking about. Okay? So, the purpose of that was because what they don't tell you is that there's a manager that manages the fund, and every transaction they make, it is only 1%. But you do a bunch of those at 1%, how much is that a month? And by the way, that's called a variable investment fund. A lot of people, you know that, right? But see, what you did was when you signed up at that job, who has one again? Okay, have you gone back and revisited that 401k to see how it did last? Well, you smart girl, because most people just click it and forget about it. True? True? Don't talk to me about now that you got smart. Talk to me about 15 years ago when you started it. Did you not sign up, set it up, and forget about it? Okay, then we're on the same page, guys, because I did too. You know what made me angry? Why didn't somebody teach me this when I was young? I got to find out this when I was 64 years old. But I know how to resolve that problem. Okay? So, one of the things that we do is we actually do fixed index annuities, final expense, term life. All that is nice. This is the beautiful one right here. I did that when I was 33 years old for my girls. $200 a month. It's disgusting how much they have. And by the way, they're grown up and they're doctors and all of that kind of jazz right now. Guys, in order for you to put a grip on your financing, you need to understand the differences between a fixed, a variable, and an index. Everybody knows what a fixed income is, right? A fixed return is, right? You all know what the variable is, which is what? Who has a variable? Anybody? What do you have in the variable? What stock?
Well, I have, is that the same as mutual fund?
Very much so, yes. Mutual fund is also predicated on a stock, which is traded on the stock exchange, either the S&P 400, et cetera. Right, so it's basically on those indices. Does anybody know what an indexed means? Yes or no? No? So I learned this, and when I learned this, you're going to love this, Jeff. An index, first of all, insurance companies have trillions of dollars, right? Right. So what happens is, imagine my hand, right? My hand, all that money is here, right? The reason why an index has a zero risk, zero loss, and it's tax-free when you pull your money out is because the investors for the insurance companies only invest the dividends. They don't invest the principal. That's the easiest way to understand indexing. When you're in a variable, they mess with the principal. That's why when it goes down, your stomach hits the floor, and then when it goes up, you're jumping down for Jubilee and you want to have a beer, right? Listen, it's not a good way to live. But did you know that? I didn't know that. So one of the things that's really important is you understand how do you get into those vehicles and what are they? Okay? So you're saying, well, how'd you get so smart in that if you just started about a year ago? Well, I became a student of the game. Okay, I'll tell you something. When I get into something, Pedro's known me for over 20 years. He says, if there's anybody that's going to get into something and find the holes in it, it's going to be you. I ran a car dealership. I sold over 300 cars. I was number 5 in the United States out of 1,250 stores. And I didn't do it because I was a cupcake. I was smart, though. See, I don't have a lot of guys working for me. 60% of my management staff are women. And they don't mess up. 47% of my staff on the floor was women. Pedro used to come and see me. He says, you got a lot of girls here. I said, I know. I don't have to worry about it. I'm 60-something. I'm not 30-something. Okay? The nice thing about it is when you grow up, you start seeing the value in just how incredible females really are. So what I'm trying to share with you is you have to understand that when you come from that kind of an environment, when I get into this environment, I can't do it halfway. And by the way, they wanted me to retire. Do you think with this energy I can retire? No. The wonderful thing about indexing is you're compounding your money. I'm going to lead up to why I'm talking about this in just a second. You'll see this because you're going to go. It's going to be an aha moment. The rest is how to do final expense. Anybody ever have somebody in their family that died, and you got this phone call? Annie Mae died. I know, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I was sleeping. Thank you. That's sad. You're heartbroken. Well, we're taking a collection because she ain't got no insurance. It's called a GoFundMe page. Okay, not a good place to be at, guys. And do you know why? Because nobody sat down. Everybody starts a conversation out with insurance. It's not insurance. You've got to be able to talk about estate planning, legacy wealth planning, trusts, and all those things. So I've gone as far as right now, I will be certified by December 4th in trusts, in irrevocable trusts. You know the beautiful thing about that is when you understand how the government works, I'm learning the rules. They can't mess with me no more. My stuff is ironclad like a safe. It's better than Fort Knox. Government can't touch my irrevocable trust. Okay? Now, for an immigrant coming here, because I'm Puerto Rican, by the way, I came over on a 747. I didn't swim over here. Okay? At the end of the day, what I'm trying to share with you, okay, I didn't make excuses. I could tell you something, though. I know that the people in this room have been poor and have been wealthy. And those that are succeeding are not making excuses. Okay? I can understand failure. We're supposed to fail. We're supposed to make mistakes. I've made a ton of them. I just don't tell everybody. But I'm going to tell you that I've learned this much, is that after I ended up getting the Lord in my heart, I know that I am a work in process. He has got me because he was like, what are you doing? We can't do that. Going in the right direction every single time. And doing this because, see, when I was younger, I used to have to do it for money. And I'm going to say it humbly, I don't do it for the money anymore. To me, it's all about knowledge, helping people, empowerment. It's funny, Jeff and Tammy, where's Tammy? Isn't it funny how these conversations are completely integrated? It's phenomenal, right? I was shocked back then. I was like, I'm definitely not here by accident. And my good friend Pedro said, hey, you know, we have these gatherings. He played it off really easy. You can get in front of there because I know you're good talking to people. And then Tammy calls me. I didn't understand her at first. I had to listen real careful. I don't know if it was my accent or hers. But at the end of the day, we hit it off because what happens is she goes, how is what you're going to talk about relative to what we're doing? I said, oh, you're going to love it. So the first thing is that I'm making you aware. Did I do that today? Okay, I've accomplished that goal. Thank God. Let's click past this. We already know what final expense. I can talk more about the details of that because that's more instructional. I want to get to the meat. Ready? This is important. Do you know that years ago, when you ended up getting some kind of, and I'm not here to sell insurance, by the way. I'll get to the point where I'm getting to. Years ago, when you died, the reason why some of our family members, especially Hispanics, the last one the devil can pay. I ain't worried about it. The devil can pay the last bill. But what they don't understand, in Spanish it sounds worse. La última que la paga el diablo. Okay? The fact is, you need to understand that the kids are going to pay for that. But they don't care. They're dead. Right? They're in heaven. I mean, it's ugly, but it's the truth, right? Okay, here's the other one. When you did that, you're like, why am I going to leave so much money to people? That's true, right? And our families think this way. But I'm going to tell you something they didn't have back then, though. They didn't have living benefits. Do you know that you're going to have 4 deaths, 1 of 4? Which one are they? Natural causes? You hope you pass away in bed. And you're done, right? You're just done. The other one could be terminal illness, cancer. The other one could be a critical or chronic. Can you imagine not being able to do 2 or more bodily functions out of 9 that it disable you for 90 days or more? You're going to need 24/7 care, and you just went through your entire nest egg and your family's nest egg and everything. They had to sell the house. You left them in the street just because you're alive. Well, right now, insurance companies right now have the coverage, if you qualify, to be able to have that as part of the rider benefits that come with every insurance policy. You don't need big insurance policies. Just some people can't afford it, so you get a smaller one, but you have the living benefits. Does that make sense? Are you helping people now, or are you selling them insurance? Say it again? You're helping. And you're also informing and educating them. Okay? Let's move past this. So banks, as you know, when you put your money in the bank and when you get a loan, you go to the bank, right? What's the bank loan right now going to come in for a personal loan? Anybody know? Want to take a stab at it? Personal loan. It's going to be higher than that. It's going to be anywhere between 16 to 21%, depending on a personal loan. Not only that, it's very high interest rate. Now, you can collateralize that against some other funds you have in the bank. You'll have to go through a credit union for that, and then they're going to be able to still loan you. It'll be somewhere, who said 7 or 9? Somewhere between there. You're right. Okay? So, oh, by the way, when you put your money in the bank, some of you have $10,000, $10. Some of you have $100,000. Do you have it in the bank? No, Hector, I have it in a 401. I have it in a high yield account paying 4.25% right now. You have to pay taxes on that?
Yeah.
What if you have $300,000 and the bank goes under? Did you get insured for $300,000? Why? FDIC only insures you for $250,000 per account. Do you know that? Okay, some people don't. So where's it safe to put your money? So aren't we definitely at a dilemma? Now I'm making money, so you just bought a house, you put your $15,000 in there, you let it appreciate, you pulled out $150,000, you're like, man, I am got it going on. And you're like, husband says, we need to buy 2. Buy 2 more. That's a smart move. What if you were able to, under an indexed universal life type program, put your money away that's going to be paying you a dividend on that money, and you're going to be able to have a death benefit of $1 million, and after about 5 or 6 years, you'll be able to pull $200,000-$300,000 out of that, borrow against it as a loan, and never have to pay it back tax-free. Did I let you create your own bank? Now, are you rich or are you wealthy? You're wealthy. You know why? Because you don't need the bank. You just created your own bank. You have to make a decision. Am I going to be a financial spender, or am I going to be a financial investor? You're like, well, heck, I don't have that much money. Well, if she started with $3,000 and she ended up with $250,000, if she would have met me when she did that, I would say, honey, I need you to just keep about $100,000. We're going to take $150,000. I'm going to show you how we're going to put it away. Oh, by the way, you can't put it in all at one time. You got to put it over a 5-year period of time, so it doesn't mech to the IRS. And then what happens is I'm going to put it into a PDA, primary deposit account, in the policy, and I'm going to pay you 6% interest. Is the bank paying you 6% interest, or 0.0162%? And I'm going to pay you 6%. I want you to listen to what I'm doing right now. You following me right now? I told you I was going to get to the meat and potatoes, right? And then they pay you interest on that money, and they put in your principal. So you just got interest credits. And then you're going to go in there because you're waiting for the right time. And the right time is, oops, I see that house, $250,000. How much I got into? $350,000? Hector, I need $250,000. What are you doing? I'm going to buy property. All right. Boom, 3 days later, you got your check. You went in, you paid cash for your property, you own it. Ooh, are you going to be able to pull some equity out of that bad boy, huh? Do you understand how you can do it? Now, could you imagine those that are real estate agents right now? Instead of you having a transactional business, listen to what I'm saying, a transactional business one time, you have a relationship business, because now you're a licensed agent. I don't need you to be licensed in annuities. I don't need you to be licensed in health. I don't need you to understand Um, I got a brain for it. When you get old, you get that insurance, Medicare. That's what happened. I had a senior moment. It's because my thoughts are running at 100 miles an hour because I'm so thrilled to talk about this because I own this subject in my heart. Could you imagine you being a licensed agent and you just sold that client a house, and since you got everything on them, all the critical documents except their underwear size, we don't need that, right? And you provide them with the coverage that they need to start an estate planning, that you're going to have a relationship, that you're going to get renewals on it every single year they are alive. Wait a minute. And on top of that, when they get ready to buy another house, you're going to show them how to take the money out of there tax-free. Because you know why? Because you became the first client. You became your first client, and you started doing the same things you needed to, and you started becoming a bank. And because you know what? Because if you need the money, just pull the equity out of the policy. Now, it reduces your death benefit, because you can have more than one of these, you know. Our owner to our company is 40 years old. He has 60 policies. 40 years old. Our company's been offered. It's one of the fastest growing companies in the United States. It's been offered already. You can research this stuff. You're going to love this. 30 multiples already. 30 multiples means whatever its current asset value is on the books right now, it's been offered 30 times, billions of dollars. So the reason why I say I'm going to help build you, you can just become an agent, and I'll show you that. Or you can just become somebody that's going to be an agent just for yourself. Or you can grow your own agency and your real estate business. The reason why I'm sharing that with you is because you get to a certain level, you have what we call POP program, which is Partnership Ownership Program, which means you become part of that. You sign equity into the company. He's given 90% of the company away to the top 1,000 people. I'm in that group. Now, I could give a flying tortilla about the money. All it's going to do is means I have to have a bigger house. I got to get another insurance policy. You know what I really want it for? I want to help people. Because at the end of the day, when I saw my mom pass, I will tell you one thing, it was the most painful thing in the world, and she had assets big time. She took nothing with her. Whatever you value, all those that shirt from the college, that timepiece that's sitting at home, that car that you treasure, anything like that that's material, please understand, you can't take it with you. So what are you going to do about it? I'm just giving you an idea. You've got lots of people. You have children, you have charities. You have something that's passionate in your heart that you want to be able to do, right? So is everybody getting this? Am I boring you, or we're good? This is exciting as heck. 'Cause let me tell you, you know what? I didn't know this stuff. And because I didn't know it, it's in my heart. See, I've already accomplished my dreams. I've already accomplished my goals. I have to set new ones. I just told Pedro today, the next house I'm buying, don't say nothing. And you know why? Because I need to set new goals. But it's not going to happen unless I help people, I have God's blessing, and I continue to share what I'm doing right now. And I love mentoring people. Those that are interested, I'm your guy. So basically, I have family banking strategies. These are things you can learn. I will teach you that. I'm going to spin past this because I want to get to really what's important. By the way, this is what the bank does. Ready? You want to get mad? You want to get mad? You want to get mad at what life's been telling you? I'm going to tell you what. So this is the bank. Bank pays you less than 1%, right? And then the bank says, hey, you, I want you to put your money in my bank. And the bank leverages it 10 times at 24%, 20 times, 24 times, sometimes 100 times. The number is really this. Okay? Or wait a minute, the bank takes the money and then they put it into this insurance company. When I tell you this, you're going to get really mad. And they make 8 to 15% on your money. So you put $1 million, you put $1 million, you put $1 million, you put $1 million. Heck, you put $1 million too. I got $5 million times 10 is what? $50 million policy. 5 years later, all you decide to get together and buy a mini mall. Put a down payment. I'm making you think big. Stop thinking small, by the way, and stop thinking like immigrants. Stop thinking like that. Start thinking big, because you can get that. but you have to think different. Watch this. $50 million policy, you take out $5 million plus interest. Let's say we took out $10 million because they got a lot of interest, right? The bank keeps $40 million and all the underwriting profit, and they keep that, and they can borrow against that money, and they get all the tax dividends from it. That's how it works. Or you can do it for yourself. And you borrow for yourself and continue to grow your empire. Because what happens is the bank is definitely making. Oh, by the way, who banks with Bank of America? I need to see those hands. $24.3 billion in insurance. Number one company in the world. Google it. You'd be like, boy, he does know what he's talking about. Chase is 13 or 14 billion. Right behind him is about 2,800 banks, I think. I have the entire list. It'll shock you. It'll shock you. That's how they make money. Oh, don't go below zero on the checkbook, baby. I'm gonna hit you with some fees, right? So that's how this game works. Everybody understand that? Now, you know why that started that way? Because what were the three businesses that did not go out of business during the Great Depression? What was the first one? Insurance was the number one, yes, sir. What was the next one? I'll give it to you, the beauty business. You know why? Women didn't have money to go to the beauty parlor, but if they bought lipstick, you're dressed. True? You know, you put that stuff on your eyes. But when you put on that lipstick, you're dressed. Yeah, you're ready to go, right? And the other one is the grocery business because everybody needs to eat. That's why this happened. By the way, there's a conversation between the Rockefellers and Vanderbilts and all these big shot names. I call them the Titans. You know what they said? America doesn't need any more millionaires. America needs laborers. That's why they don't teach us this stuff in school. You're learning this now at the age of 20-something, because you look young. I'm just jealous. But good looking. 20 years old, as old as me. 66 in 2 weeks. And I just learned this a couple of years ago. I'm so mad because I know what could I have done with this like I did with a dealership. And I did it for somebody else. I did it for somebody else. Could you imagine that success that I gave my greatest commodity, me, my time, to somebody else if I gave it to me? But the problem is I've never been able to meet somebody that owned a subject matter, was passionate and cared about it enough that I trusted to show me. Because this is no gimme. This is no gimme. This is legit. And I love people when they vet my process. Because they come back and be like, damn, you were right. Well, I could have saved you time if you just believed me. But okay, anyway, you love that, right? This is informative. Okay, so if you're 31 years old and you're making some good chili and you put away $6,000 a year, at the age of 65, you'll have $69,000 and $800,000 in the death benefit. You'll have this much cash where you can be able to pull out tax-free out of the policy. You can just keep generating this kind of income for the rest of your life. That's how that policy works. I'll explain it again. You're putting away $500 a month. This is a good one, Carly. Remember you asked me this question? You put away $500 a month at $6,000 a year. You let that compound right up until you're 66. You can pull that out tax-free. So if you take the $70,000, you multiply that times 30%, it's $100,000 a year gross, but you're getting tax-free dollars. And you can borrow up to the death benefit of the policy or $683,000. Pretty powerful tool, right? I didn't know this. Here's another example. That's somebody that's 31 years old and put $2,500 a month. He's making a little bit of bank. He pulls out $361,000, which is about $30,000 a month. He has a $4.2 million policy. He could pull out $3.5 million. Who's 30 years old? 31. Okay, so we move on. But you get my drift? Right? You get my drift? I knew that was going to happen to me. All right, so here's another one. This is the $1 million baby. You put away $150 a month or $1,800 a year. And then when that baby turns 66, they have $160,000 tax-free dollars, almost $2 million policy, and $1.6 million that they can borrow from that insurance policy to do whatever they want to do. The problem is nobody teaches us financial literacy. That's the whole purpose of this conversation. Nobody teaches us how to do financial professional strategy. That's what I am. I am a licensed professional strategist. I sit down and I will do a complimentary, which by the way, I did one of those with my wealth manager 14 years ago. And when I got out of business, I started selling my decisions in my 401k. And he kept stopping them, and I went to Schwab, and they wouldn't let me do it because I needed to go through my financial planner. And then that's how I called him. I said, you need to stop stopping it. He goes, why? I said, because I'm selling my positions. He goes, hey, let's get together for breakfast. So I sold my positions. When I sat down, this is a true story. I told Pedro this. And he goes, hey, Hector, I want to hire you. I said, why? He goes, but you'd be great at this. I knew you were going to get your license. I said, well, I needed to do something. You know how much energy I got. And he goes, yeah, but you gave me a lot of clients. I said, I'm not going to grab them. Just remember, I knew you charged me 3.5% because I didn't know no better. I said, my fees are 1.5%, and I'm paid by the insurance company, not by the client. Oh. I'll repeat that again. I'm paid by the insurance company, not the client. And my fees are what? 1.5%. So why wouldn't you want to sit down and have a conversation? A lot of good information, right? Okay, you as a businessman, Tammy, have you ever heard of this stuff? I'm about to cut out here in 2 minutes. Okay? Guys, I just want to inspire families and make people dream. I'm here to help. If you'd like to be able to take the conversation further, I said there's a couple of things you can do. You can either become a client, be more than happy to sit down and do a complimentary financial analysis on you. They charged me $500 to do it 14 years ago. They're right now about $1,000 to $1,500. I do that complimentary. Okay? I want to take Wall Street and bring it down to Main Street. You can become a referral agent by being licensed, or you can do this part-time. I can be able to mentor you step by step, and I'm academic. Or you can do this full-time, or you can come with me and I can help you build your agency. I want to thank you all, and I want to thank God for the honor and the privilege to stand in front of you today. This did not happen by accident. I call it an integrated meeting, and I am very, very pleased to have shared this information with you.